Hey everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. This one I'm talking about the market backwards principle in entrepreneurship, and then leading up to what I believe all successful entrepreneurs understand and know but don't talk about. And then we'll also break down in this video really some changes that you need to make in order to begin to be successful if you're a beginner, or you're even already making a decent amount of money, or you're intermediate within sort of that range of, just starting to, before 6 figures or coming up on 6 figures. So in this video, I'll just be breaking it down for you, just through my words. I was going to have a presentation prepared, but I realized that it's kind of hard for me to put visuals behind this. And so I just wanted to talk about it very openly, and it's something that I've talked about quite a bit, and it's something I know by heart, so I believe I'll be able to just like hammer it out over video. So yeah, so I think the first thing I need to talk about with this video is sort of the misconceptions and sort of the lies that you're being told about what it takes to actually make money, okay? And so I think the first thing that we're told is things like academics and the role of academics and our ability to make money. And how we view it is like you go and you get academic credentials, and then you build yourself up so that then you can go to the market and the market pays you because you are built up and you are ready, right? And in theory that sounds completely and totally factual and easy to understand, and it seems completely linear, and it doesn't seem like there's any gaps in that. But the major one, the obvious gap for me, is a couple things. There's actually a couple gaps. First of all, the market's always changing. So what the market needs might not be aligned with the academic knowledge that you've obtained, okay? So that's the first thing. And so the market is always changing. It always needs new things. And just because you went and got a degree does not inherently mean that you are aligned and ready to serve in the market. And that should be obvious, but for some reason it's not. The next thing is that the market doesn't so much care about the person that gives the results. It more so cares about the result itself. And not to say that the market is completely heartless, but what I am saying is that it doesn't care if you are black, white, male, female, educated, uneducated. It only cares if you can drive the result that it's wanting to drive with your service or your idea or your product or whatever it is, okay? Or your skills. And so why this is important to understand is it reverses the way that we come at making money. Instead of starting at a point, let's say we have a little timeline here. Instead of starting at point A, and here's point Z over here, point A being, we go and get an academic education, spend a lot of money and get in debt, and then we move into the market and we find a place in the market, and then we get paid because we're finding problems here that we sort of studied over here. Instead of that, point A is go to the market, and then point G, or like whatever the middle letter in the alphabet is, I don't know, point whatever here is study based on our findings and iterate what we've found based on what we gathered from our original experiments. So you go to the market and you try, basically is all I'm saying. And you just try to sell stuff, okay? And you just try to sell services, you try to sell products, you try to sell your skills, you try to sell your time, you try to get people into your business. And along the way, you do a couple things. You remove bottlenecks. So you find places in your business where we cannot handle more than X, okay? You find a way to fill those bottlenecks, and this is marketing. We have, let's say my agency can only take on really probably 15 to 20 clients max. So in order to take more, I'd either have to have a team or I'd have to productize my service. So either build a team, or I make maybe like a course so people who would originally work with my agency now can just purchase a program and do the work themselves, right? So you remove bottlenecks, you find ways to fill those bottlenecks, and then lastly, you iterate based on the response that you get from the market. So what does this mean, Trey? Where do I start then? If I'm making no money and I just want to start a business, you're making it sound so complicated. I understand that. Here's where you start. You start with a niche that you generally understand and you generally care about. And for me, it's entrepreneurs. I love helping entrepreneurs. And I love the true entrepreneurial spirit. Like the desire to build industry. I love that. And then I love young people who don't have any direction and are maybe, in debt from college. And I actually have up here, I have it posted on this little board right here. I actually have the problem I'm solving. I have it written down and I'll read it to you. It says, the problem is entrepreneurs have very little direction and no true financial vehicles. Few true mentors who have been through the business ringer and know how to create a product or service. The education system ruins any chances of these people succeeding in this generation by telling them that academics translates into marketplace value. And through this, and though this is true in a specific handful of cases, a majority of the time it's a falsehood that is designed to drive untaxable sales for colleges and allow the government to continue lobbying education as a means to collect taxpayer money. This world needs more examples and people who have been born and raised in entrepreneurship and have real-world experience from a young age running a business at a small and large scale. And so that's like one of the first motives that I have, and that's the education side of things. And then the other one is, that business owners are walking around with a proverbial blind spot for digital marketing. And, my niche is helping coaches and information product salesmen, people who have a good info product out there that gets great results, build better funnels to sell that. And so, you see how simple it becomes when you pick a niche and then you pick a service. And that's all you have to do. Pick a niche and pick a service, and then just go. And then as you're going, you're going to learn so much that it's stupid that you're even sitting back and thinking that memorizing words from a book is what's going to get you to a place where you're valuable. I honestly feel bad. I genuinely and seriously have like almost a broken heart for the people who think that their MBA is going to make them valuable in business. It won't. And in some cases, it might, all right? There are outliers. But if you're familiar with a bell curve, right? We have a bell curve. Whoops, the paper just fell that I took off the wall a second ago. You know what a bell curve looks like, right? The meat of the bell curve, the most people on that bell curve of people who got an MBA, they can't do crap in business. They have no idea they don't even know how to sell anything. They've never made a single dime on their own, ever. Most of them have only ever worked fast food jobs or low-end paying gigs. And then they may be like move into like a sales job or something, which is fine. I love sales. Sales is great, but it doesn't, an MBA does not help you build a business. What builds a business? Well, business, you build it off of proof of concept. You pick a service, you pick a product, you go to market with it, and you see what the market says about it, right? Or you don't even pick a service, you just go to the market and listen to them and then build a service off of what you learn from them. So you see how this timeline is different. So let me write this out. Let me do a little visual. I think I've come up with a decent visual at this point. I'm gonna leave the systems thing there because that's not leaving for years. So here's the visual, okay? So we have, crap. One sec, I gotta get a pen that actually works here. Okay. So we have you, all right? And this is you. You're that little smiley face. And what you don't want to do is go to the market, or what you don't want to do is go and get like an education, and we'll just draw like a book or something. I don't know. Let's pretend this is a book, right? You don't want to go and get an education and then take that and try and test it on the market, okay? Because what's wrong is that the market has all of the true education within it, okay? Just by testing and learning, you're learning more than you ever could by sitting back here and doing this part. Okay, so instead of this, go straight to the market and hear them out and hear what their problems are and listen to them and learn from them and learn from the people in your... Okay, the video cut out. My card was full. I'm going to keep going. So instead of going you to education to market, you go you, market, and then what's great about going straight to the market is that literally without even trying and without even like having to think about it, you're going to automatically learn lessons, okay? We're just going to make a little fake book again, and it's going to come back to you. And now you've got this loop. And maybe you know what a feedback loop is. It just builds and builds and builds. It's either a negative feedback loop or a positive one. A good example could be like, you know, a tree planted by a river versus a tree planted in the middle of the desert. The middle of the desert tree is going to shrink because it doesn't have enough water, whereas the one planted by the river is not only going to grow, but as it grows, its roots grow as well, so it can grow quicker. So not only does its growth grow it, but it increases the rate at which it can potentially grow. And so that's what you're creating here, is you're creating exponential potential simply by going straight to the market instead of going straight to education. So by effectively being willing to fail, you are creating an exponential potential for growth. And that's what you need to focus on. You don't need to focus on reading. Now, I love reading books, and I've got lots of books, okay? But the reason I have lots of books is because as I've gone along my journey in the market, I've found gaps that I need to fill in my head, and then I go and buy books or courses based on those gaps, okay? And so what a lot of people think is they even think that literally just sitting back and reading books just for the sake of reading books is going to help them. It won't. If I literally just went to a library and picked a random book off the shelf and it was about like the history of like the Roman Empire, that would actually be kind of cool. Like maybe it would be about like, I don't know, volcanoes or something. Let's say I'm studying volcanoes and I go to the library and I spend the next 10 years studying volcanoes and I think, man, now that I know this much about volcanoes, I could go build a business. So that's not how it works. I'm going to start now, and then along the way I'm going to discover problems. And then I'm going to either get on Google like a man, or I'm going to ask around and figure out the solutions to those problems as I go. And that's why I'm so, like literally I'm so mad that people my age, 18 to like 22, what they're doing right now, instead of going out there and actually trying to build something, they're at a school building learning crap and going in debt for it, and then they have no time to actually do stuff. And so they're so they're getting like screwed on like 5 different dimensions here. So instead of going straight to the market and learning from the market, letting the market tell you what to do and what to change, and then you go back to the market again with your new information, and then you learn, and then you go, and then you learn, and you go, and you just grow upwards. Instead of that, they are going straight to education, and then no market for 4 years, and then just education, 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 and education is not the solution. Like, random academic knowledge doesn't do anything for you. It literally does nothing for you, okay? And so then you just plummet downward because now you actually have like this massive disadvantage, because even if there is an obvious opportunity in front of you, you don't recognize it because it doesn't fit into your little bubble that you learned in school. So like, for example, if you went to school to study, I don't know, I'm just going to make up a degree here, okay? Let's say you went to school to study, specifically, like I'm going to look at my watch here. Let's say you went to school to study watch businesses, okay? That's not a degree, but let's say it is, right? Let's say you went to school to study that. Now, let's say that the watch market is changing, and it's changing from physical mechanical watches to digital watches, and your education is outdated. And if you only change this one little thing in your business, you could literally make an extra $4 million a year versus like the 60 grand that you make right now. But because it doesn't fit into your bubble, you can't do that. And because you haven't learned to iterate, you can't do that. And there's a great book on this. It's called Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. Classic. And it basically talks about recognizing when you need to change. And that's my frustration, really, is that people don't recognize when they need to change. So, yeah, this has been the video. So this is what all entrepreneurs understand, that they don't talk about it. Okay? It's they go straight to the market. And then at the market tells them naturally, because you get paid less. Like, people will comment, Trey, what does it mean when the market tells you what you need to learn? Well, here's an example for me. I have clients in my marketing agency, okay? And I service them, and I help them build better funnels. And so in order to know how to build better funnels for them, I need to always be having better funnel understanding. So how can I do that? Well, there's a myriad of ways I can do it. I can get on Google, I can hire a coach, invest in another course, whatever. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be able to get any results from my clients because I wouldn't know crap about doing it. Okay? And so I went to the market first. I tried to sell this stuff first, and guess what? My first client hated me. And guess what? I hated the experience. And guess what? It would have been easy to quit and just go get a job, okay? But I didn't stop. I just kept going because I knew that eventually I'd be able to figure it out, because I have a human brain and this thing's freaking insane, all right? So, geez, this is a crazy video. But I hope this makes sense to you, and I hope it's like resonating with you, because this is just such simple stuff that is just so overlooked. Our culture values education, which is just the memorization of random facts, over experience-based wisdom and iteration. And that sole thing alone is keeping so many people from achieving incredible things. Just absolutely incredible things. And I want to end this video by saying, look, if you're scared to go to market, get over it. Just get over it. And start trying to sell stuff. Get out there and start trying to sell the service or the product that you're trying to sell, and just do it. Because you're going to realize that within a year of doing that, you're going to learn more than you could at freaking 15 years at like some MBA bullcrap. Because you're going to learn what you need to change. And then you're going to change it, and you're going to go back and you'll be better. You're going to change it, and you go back and you'll be better. And all you have to do is actually pay attention. And just have your eyes open and actually be tracking what works and what doesn't. And then eventually you're going to arrive at this amazing consensus where everything sort of just clicks and aligns, and you're just off to the races. And I'm feeling it right now in my business, and that's why I'm talking about it, because I'm beginning to align that market need and my ability to provide value to it, and things are just freaking awesome right now. Like, things are just freaking amazing, okay? So, yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this made sense to you. And subscribe if you enjoyed it. Check out the other content on the channel. I teach you how to start and grow your social media marketing agency, and that's my niche. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.